we're at Schwartz's apartment, and I just gotta say, his apartment is one of the saddest places I've
It
ever seen.
really
Like, it's
is.
such a bummer.
Even when the dogs are
I
there, it's
know,
like, ugh.
and it's just like a reflection of like what's happened to him in the past year. I think
Yeah.
it's just like you can see it physically in his apartment. But Sandoval like kicks the door open and just starts quote unquote sobbing. That was the fakest cry I saw all night. There was a few of them. That shit was not real.
That was weird because when Sandoval and Ariana are talking, he even says, like, I stayed at Schwartz's last night. I didn't stay at Raquel's. Now, one, we can believe that he actually did stay at Raquel's and didn't stay at Schwartz's. But when he walks in and starts talking to Schwartz, it's like they haven't seen each other in 2 weeks and he has to explain the whole situation over again.
Oh,
So
that's a
that's
good
where I
point.
like hate that, where I'm like, I know you guys have talked about this. This is fake. But Schwartz's, again, his emotions were real. Him sitting there and looking at the reviews of Schwartz and Sandy's
One
going way
star.
downhill, they're not even fucking
He
open.
has to sit on the floor because he's about to like pass out. He's like, I
He's
need to
gonna
sit
have like a
down.
fucking panic attack. He hasn't eaten, he hasn't drank any water, like he's freaking out. And Sandoval's gonna walk in his dumbass leather puffy coat in fucking LA of all places and fake cry on your shoulder and say, I just really felt a connection with Raquel and I don't really get it. And I'm so sorry that all of this happened. It's like, dude, no.
And then Schwartz's response is, "You had a game plan, you just didn't follow through with it." It's like, God damn, guys, that means that you have chatted about this at length to come up with a game
Well,
plan.
Schwartz did actually, I mean, he did say something because Sandoval was going to the point where he was completely ignoring Ariana and the whole thing, which we've seen over and over again. He was only talking about himself.
Yeah,
And Schwartz is like, no, dude, like, that's not what this is about at all. This is what you did to Ariana. So, like, he actually did say that.
he,
And it was like, all right, like, for everything, and I completely forgot that Schwartz was even divorced in the last year. Like, all of this
oh,
got so overshadowed. This fucking guy gets divorced, has to move out. He doesn't know how to handle any of that. He gets thrown into hooking up with Raquel, ruins Katie's whole fucking life, too, on top of it. He's living by himself, sadly, in the sad apartment. And now the only thing that might make him happy
the
is the
bar,
fucking bar opening.
and that
And
implodes.
that implodes because of Sandoval. And Sandoval comes in and says, I felt a connection with Raquel. Like, you gotta feel bad for Schwartz a little bit. I know we've given him a lot of shit, but that sucks.
That's a really, really, that's like three strikes in one season, and
Yeah.
that's really tough. And so, like, his life was imploding before his life really fucking
Yeah.
imploded via Sandoval. But I do love that Schwartz's response to this, like how to fix it. He goes, maybe like make a post, like vindicating me. Like, oh yeah, a Sandoval post about Schwartz not being complicit would go over super well. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Everybody would believe it.
But they proceed to have this conversation, and every time I see Sandoval talking, I'm like, there's no way he can make this worse. Like we are at absolute rock bottom. We're at the bottom of the Dead Sea. Like we can't get any fucking lower. He gets lower. He then goes, I wanted to tell her, but I got the vibe that she didn't want to know. What? Wait. You think that she knew that you were having an affair and she like subliminally was like, yo, we're going to keep this on the down low. I don't need to know about it. You do your thing. I'm not going to ask any
I think,
questions.
to her credit, like, she definitely knew something was going
She
on.
was suspicious.
But
Yeah.
she did say, like, I would.
She
Like,
questioned him.
the fact that Sandoval was like, no, that's the thing that Schwartz said. Sandoval said to Schwartz, yes, if Ariana thought something was going on, she should have followed me. That's on her for
Yeah.
not following me
Fuck.
and to figure it out. And then Schwartz goes, you can't put that on her,
Yeah,
dude.
that's when he defended her.
Yeah.
Thank God, because that's what I'm saying. I can't in my brain, I can't wrap my head around. You know, you could have caught me. Like, this is your fault. All you had to do was tail me one time. And then we find out on like Watch What Happens Live. She's like, I did have his location. He was at Schwartz's, which means that all of this nefarious activity could have been happening at Schwartz's.
Or
This
he
is
was like
where,
dropping his phone off at Schwartz's or
and
something,
you know
putting it in the
what?
mailbox and then
Anybody
going.
else, I'd be like, there's no way he would take the time to do that. He definitely,
Absolutely
definitely
would.
did that. I wouldn't be
Or
shocked at
he would
all.
go, he would have Raquel meet because what, they had sex in the car.
But
They probably
here's,
had sex in his car
you know what I think?
outside of Schwartz's.
Genuinely, I don't think Schwartz is clean at all. I think he knew
No.
way longer. And here's
Yeah.
what I think. I think Schwartz took Sandoval's phone. I think he'd give him his phone and he would go to Raquel's and he would be like, yo, take my
Probably.
phone.
I
Like, I
think that
think
makes
that he
sense, yeah.
knew way more than he
But
knew.
that's like for the people that are out there that are saying like, I mean, we do understand like Schwartz is not going to rat on Sandoval. We know that. That's, but people are defending him saying like they're boys. Of course, they're going to do that. Like, he's not going to rat him out. Like, what do you expect from Schwartz? This is what I expect from Schwartz. I expect him to be further complicit
Yeah, I
to the
agree.
point that he's going above and beyond to help, aid and abet
He's aiding and abetting,
Sandoval to go over to Raquel's
harboring a
house. Like,
fugitive.
there's one thing where it's like, oh yeah, I knew that they hooked up, but I didn't think that I was gonna like. It was just a one time thing. He told me, he assured me, and I wasn't gonna spill the beans. I was gonna have my boys back. Like, no, that doesn't sound very believable. Maybe the next step where it's like I kind of thought this was going on, but again, I wasn't gonna bring it up. No, I expect the highest level, which is you were helping them do
Yeah, you were
this.
aiding and abetting.
And that's where I fully expect Schwartz to be. So that's a little rough.
Well, I mean, I think the thing we can't gloss over either, him and Ariana were really, really tight. She was a groomsman in his wedding with Katie.
Mhm.
Like they had a relationship too, and I think that that's what we saw in Watch What Happens Live after the fact is when you can tell there because during the episode when they have that conversation at the bar, I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe there's a chance that these two could figure it out eventually. Like maybe they could be friends again. They left it on a note where Ariana legit says like we were great friends and I can't be friends with you anymore, and that makes me sad, and that's a bummer. And I was like, you know what? Maybe they find their way back. We saw and Watch What Happens Live. It's like, oh, you know what? No shot. She's clearly out on him, and she's definitely found out more. Clearly, in that moment, she's found out enough to be like, he knew he was helping. She called him a flying monkey.
Yep.
Like she's one of Sandoval's flying monkeys. Like he is on the payroll. That's it. So